Lisa here with Mini Me in Tennessee, and welcome back to my channel. Here we are again in my kitchen. What are we doing today? We are meal prepping. So if you like these videos, just keep watching. We are going out of my comfort zone today, guys, and we are going to be making sweet pepper poppers. I got this recipe straight out of the Southern Keto Cookbook. I will link the cookbook in the description box below in case you want to check out all the amazing details for this recipe. Our basic ingredients are going to be mini sweet peppers. We also need some cream cheese softened. We will also be needing some cooked and crumbled bacon. We will also need some thinly sliced green onion. And then lastly, we need some ground black pepper. Now that we have gone over all the ingredients, we need to go ahead and start prepping everything to put together for our sweet pepper poppers. We are, of course, going to need to cook and brown our bacon so that we can crumble it up. I'm using a bacon from Aldi. I really like this one because it's uncured, so it has a very little sugar in it. The thickness of it is really good. It cooks up really good, and it's fairly clean. It has no nitrates or nitrites in it, so a really good option. When I have a recipe that calls for bacon crumbles, I like to use real bacon. I don't like to buy the pre-made bacon. That's just not a really good quality. We've already talked about the quality of this particular bacon. I will go ahead and just slice it up raw and then throw it in my skillet diced. That way it sort of cooks up faster and easier. And guys, this splatter screen is amazing. I really like this one because it has the handle on top instead of the handle on the side. I can just get this in my cabinet better. It's just a better fit for me. Now that we have our bacon going, we're going to go ahead and just slice up our green onion. I'm really finicky and picky when it comes to veggies, and I've never actually tried sweet peppers before. Is that crazy? I'm sure you think that's crazy, but I haven't. I've stuck with just a few vegetables in my entire life. As I said, I'm not a big veggie person, but we're going out of my comfort zone today and we're going to give these a try. Now I have my bacon finished and I'm just going to fish it out of the grease here. And let me know in the comments below, do you guys save your bacon grease? I sure do. I love to make eggs in it. And I also like to put it in green beans. It gives it a really good flavor. When I decided to start doing these meal prep videos, I warned you guys that I am not a cook. I am learning how to cook. Yes, I'm getting a late start in life, but you know what? It's never too late, right? So please don't laugh at me when you see how I prep everything, because I know I'm doing it wrong, but maybe I'll get better and maybe you guys can share some tips with me. But to prep our peppers, we did need to slice them in half and then clean the seeds out of them. I had the bright idea to try this melon baller to clean the seeds out. I probably could have just wiped them out with my finger. Once I got started, I realized that, but you know, I thought I was trying to be high tech and use a tool to do it, but yeah. Just thought I would share that little funny with you because looking back at it, I'm like, really? You didn't have to do that. Anywho, guys, we're going to go ahead and prep our peppers. We're just going to clean all the seeds out and get them ready to stuff. Now that our peppers are prepped and ready to go, it's time to make our pepper stuffing. And we're just going to add everything into a small mixing bowl. I'm starting out with the cream cheese, adding in the green onion. Next, we're going to add in our bacon crumbles, and then lastly, our black pepper. And guys, as I'm mixing this with my hand mixer, you might notice that the cream cheese looks a little crumbly. That is true, and that is because I actually pulled it out of the freezer. And for some reason, when I'm freezing my cream cheese, it gets a little bit crumbly when it comes out. But once you mix it, it goes to the normal texture. It just might have a couple little bumps in it. But as you can see here, I also screwed up by putting it in the wrong size bowl. So I went ahead and grabbed a better bowl so that I didn't throw stuffing all over my counter. That one worked out much better. Now that we have our stuffing mixture ready to go, all we have to do is spoon it into these peppers. And guys, if you hear some sniffling and growling, and the puppies are playing here right next to me, I do apologize for that. How rude of them, right? We will continue stuffing each of our peppers with this amazing, delicious stuffing mix and just line them up here on a baking pan that is lined with parchment paper. I have to admit, guys, these look really, really pretty, and I'm super anxious to give them a try. We are going to pop these in a preheated oven that's been preheated to 400 degrees, and we're going to bake them for about 20 minutes until they are tender and the tops are starting to brown. These were actually listed in the Southern Keto Cookbook under appetizers and snacks, but I think as bariatric patients, these will make a really good side dish alongside some added protein. With their tiny tummies, this might make a meal for you. They are very low in carbs as well. A serving of these is 3 peppers, and for a serving, you're getting just a little over 5 carbs. I think that's great. These came out beautiful, guys. I have to admit, the first time I bit into it, I was just like, I don't know. But then the next day, I warmed a couple of them up, and I really like them. I was so surprised. My husband loved them, but for some reason I felt like they were better the next day. The cookbook suggests that you can replace the sweet peppers for jalapeno peppers if you like. I'm not someone who likes heat, so I'll probably stick with the sweet peppers. I actually made some notes in the cookbook to next time try it with sausage, or try it by wrapping bacon around it before putting in the oven. What do you guys think? I'm going to be prepping some fresh strawberries to have throughout the week. I picked up a couple of these from the grocery store. Unfortunately, they did not have organic, but I was able to get my hands on some fairly pretty berries. I've recently learned that if you'll wash your berries in white vinegar, that they will last a little bit longer in your refrigerator and they won't mold as fast. That is always a struggle with me. So I am going to try this out and see if it actually works for me. I'm grabbing my Cuisinart salad spinner. This is a fairly new kitchen gadget to me, but guys, I am loving it so much. I've read that the #1 thing to do to try to keep your berries from molding as fast is to keep them dry, and the salad spinner definitely helps me do that. So I'm just gently laying them into the green basket, and then I'm going to take them over to the sink and then fill the basket with water, and I'm going to pour in about 1/4 cup of the white vinegar. I'm going to sort of just stir the berries around and mix up the vinegar into the water, and I'm going to let them sit on my counter for about 10 to 15 minutes. My understanding is that the vinegar will actually remove or kill any spores that are on the berries. So now that I have let them sit, I just took them over to the sink and drained all of the water out. And now I'm going to use my salad spinner and sort of throw off any extra water that might still be on the berries. This will ensure that they get good and dry for me. And I wanted to show you guys the water that came off of the berries into the bottom of the salad spinner, so you can see it there in the bottom. That's a lot of water that would have still been on those berries had I not used my salad spinner. I recently shared an unboxing video where I unboxed this strawberry huller that I picked up from Amazon, and this is actually the first time I'm using it, and guys, it worked out really well for me. I was able to save a lot of the fruit by just sort of scooping out the top part of the hull or the stem. And yeah, I was really impressed. So this is definitely another tool in my kitchen arsenal. I'm not going to leave the berries whole in this particular meal prep. I did decide to go ahead and sort of dice these up because of what I'm using them for throughout the week. I'm planning on using these for some DIY pink drinks, the Starbucks copycat drinks that I've been experimenting with. I also have some amazing keto muffins that I made, and I've been using these to top those muffins with a little of whipped cream. Oh my gosh, so good. And then I've also just been having a few as a snack as well. Guys, strawberries are okay. They're actually fairly low in carbs. They have some fiber in them, so they're really good on net carbs. They are loaded with vitamin C. They are loaded with antioxidants. So berries are okay, guys. They're okay. So go ahead and have the damn berries, as Nicole Burgess says. So just throwing them in one of my glass containers here. I'm going to pop an airtight lid on these. I'm going to pop them in the fridge, and then I'm going to enjoy these for the rest of the week. I wanted to share my keto coleslaw recipe with you guys. I'm calling it keto because I will be using some keto approved sweeteners to make it as low carb as possible. I used to buy this processed coleslaw dressing at the grocery store, but after looking at the ingredients and realizing it has sugar in it, a lot of sugar, and a corn cider vinegar, I decided I would do much better by making it on my own. Guys, something I've never done. I've always bought it processed. So I was sort of playing around with some different dressings and some different vinegars and some different sweeteners. And I like what I have so far, but I still need to play around with some seasonings. And I wanted to go ahead and share this with you and kind of get your guys' input on what I'm using and what you recommend I add in. So let's go ahead and get into it. For our ingredients, we need either 12 to 16 ounce bag of coleslaw mix. Of course, if you want to make your own, that's perfectly fine. We are also going to need a half a cup of mayo. I like to use the Duke's because it is sugar-free. I know, guys, it has soybean oil in it, but I don't like the avocado mayonnaise, so we're going to stick with Duke's for now. We are also going to need a sugar replacement, and I'm using about 2 tablespoons of the Lakanto monk fruit sweetener. Very, very good choice, I think. We are also going to need some vinegars. I have chosen to use a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and a tablespoon of red wine vinegar. I really like the addition of the red wine vinegar. It has a little bit more of a tangy flavor to it. I'm also going to be adding in a teaspoon of salt, a half teaspoon of black pepper. I'm going to be using a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, and I'm also going to be adding in 1/8 of a teaspoon of xanthan gum to thicken my dressing. Guys, this is totally optional. I found before using the xanthan gum that my dressing was quite watery, and I just like a thicker consistency. Now that we've gone over all the ingredients that I will be using for this particular keto coleslaw, let's go ahead and build our slaw. We are going to dump our pre-packaged slaw mix into a large mixing bowl, and here I'm just sort of picking out some of those big chunky pieces that I don't like. In a separate mixing bowl, I will be adding in the ingredients for our slaw dressing. I like to do this because that way I can sort of taste and add and change up the ingredients before I add it into the actual slaw mix, in case I need to adjust any of the ingredients before messing up my whole entire recipe, if you know what I mean. So we've already gone in and dumped in our mayo, our sweetener, and our vinegars, and then we'll come in behind that and add in our seasonings as well and give it a whisk. And then I'm going to give it a taste test. I have a little plastic spoon that I saved from a drive-through or something that I had in my drawer, so I'm going to use that to do a little taste test. But I'm very curious about adding in mustard seed. I've tried it with celery seed. I did not like that, probably because I'm not a huge fan of celery anyway. But let me know if you guys use mustard seed in yours. I'm sort of thinking about trying that the next time around. I'm going to go ahead and give my dressing a taste test just to make sure that it's okay before I dump it into my slaw mix. There is one thing that I would like to adjust. Earlier I said I was going to put in a half teaspoon of pepper, and that was a little bit too much. I think that was a mistake. I totally meant to only do a 1/4 teaspoon, but for some reason my brain was thinking half teaspoon. So that's the only adjustment I would recommend in regards to this particular recipe. As I said, I'm looking forward to hearing your guys' opinions on different seasonings and spices to put in. Here I'm just giving it a good mix and toss so that I'm coating all of the little pieces of cabbage with the delicious dressing. Once I'm satisfied it's mixed well, I'm going to go ahead and put it into a glass storage container. and then pop it in the refrigerator. I think for best results, coleslaw is always most delicious when it's cold, so I like to refrigerate it for at least 2 hours before serving. Alright guys, that does it for today's meal prep video. Thank you guys once again for joining me. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, please be sure to do so before you head out. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!